Most of the calls, the bulk of the calls were by Mr. Mogotsi and not the other way around. Do you agree with that?
Chair, I'll agree with you. And in my agreement...
Let me continue with the point. I just wanted to see if you agree or not, so you say you agree. Now, if I understand the respondent's case correctly, it is that Mr. Mogotsi was persistently knocking at the door of the chief evidence leader, and he was the one, through, amongst others, calls. The many calls which you accept largely came from him, Mr. Mogotsi. So he was knocking at the door of the chief evidence leader, seeking to be assisted. So he is the one that was seeking to be assisted. And if I understand the case, that is amongst others shown by the fact that he made several calls. He is the one that largely made calls to the chief evidence leader and not the other way around. That's how I understand the case. So we may not know the content of the calls, but the point appears to be that from the fact that he is the one that made most of the calls, that appears to be an indication that he is the one that was, if I am to speak loosely, was seeking the chief evidence leader out. Do you get my point? Go, for example, to page 95, 96 as well. And there you will see miss voice call, miss voice call, miss voice call, miss voice call. And all of those, and next page 96, miss voice call, miss voice call. There's another one, miss voice call, and all the way down. I'm sure you could go on and on. 97 as well, same thing. All of those are miss voice calls coming from Mr. Mogotsi. So it's Mr. Mogotsi who's seeking out the chief evidence leader. It's not the chief evidence leader who's desperately trying to get hold of Mr. Mogotsi. It is Mr. Mogotsi who appears to be desperately wanting to get hold of the chief evidence leader. So I'm saying, yes, we do not know the content of the conversations, or rather, what conversations actually took place where there were calls that were taken between them. But from the fact that Mr. Mogotsi appears to have been the one seeking out the chief evidence leader, that may well be, I'm not deciding that point, I'm engaging you on it. That may well be an indication that it is Mr. Mogotsi who wanted assistance from the chief evidence leader and not the other way around, as Mr. Mogotsi is suggesting in his application. What's your comment? And comment specifically on the several calls that Mr. Mogotsi is making here.
Chair, on page 95, I concede that...
It's not only 95, it's 95. I took you to 95, 96, 97, and I'm sure
yes, Chair, I'm moving through the pages.
Yes.
Now, if I may be allowed to start with the first page, which would be 95. Chair, I concede that there is a missed call that came from Mr. Mogotsi. Now, there's a call that goes back to Mr. Mogotsi with a duration of 3 minutes that comes from the evidence leader. Subsequent to whatever that was discussed in that call, there's a question that comes from Mr. Mogotsi that says that, how do you protect me? The next question says, this guy, I believe that Sana maybe wants to take me down. It's open to...
Yeah, how the respondents have read that, they quote this as is, and then in brackets they say, this guy wanna take me down, something like that.
That is what how I understand it.
This guy wants to take me down, yes.
Now, Chair, the calls move further towards the night, and well, I suspect that the both of them at some point went to bed. Now, on the 10th of March, there's a missed call in the morning. If Chair moves to page 96, there's subsequent missed calls, and then there's a text that comes in which says that, are you proceeding with him or are you gonna need info prior? Again, Chair, what info does the evidence leader require prior to questioning Mr. Suleiman?
The evidence leader the chief evidence leader says that Mr. Mogotsi made the offer that he had information, new information to give to the chief evidence leader.
Now, Chair, with regards to that, Mr. Mogotsi further says that during this phone call, there was a discussion about additional information that the evidence leader sought, which was in the form of proof of payments and bank statements. And then he then says in his affidavit that he became aware on that 10th of March that the evidence leader has gotten hold of these proof of payments and the bank statements. Now, he further asks, thought you may need something. Now, Chair, my submission is that the commission may look at it to say that Mr. Mogotsi is the one who reached out. And according to these records, indeed that is the case. Now, when Mr. Mogotsi reaches out, the evidence leader also entertains him. And he could have been told off, he could have
Why should that be the case? Why should he tell him off? If he says, I have information, it is information that is relevant to what the commission